What's going on? We are back yet again. 99 to beat. We have some great content here for you today, and I'm joined by two special guests. I have Luigi. I have David. How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Hey, doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Love it.
I brought you into the party of another podcast, so we got to break down a little bit of the team challenge there. So we're just going to go right into the first individual challenge, and we're going to talk about the ice pants.
Perfect.
I do not like ice, apparently. This is what I've learned on 99 to beat. I did not do well on the ice block. I did not do so great on the frozen pans. What I think is funny, though, and David, you can probably vouch for this. Did we not film that at the end of like the lunchbox from the last round?
Oh, that's actually what I was going to bring up immediately after the lunchbox.
So I was so gassed out and so exhausted. Like I had nothing left in me. So people were like picking up these pans and I mean going ham on them right on the floor. And I was trying to, but I like physically had nothing in me. It was late at night. We had just done the lunchbox, which was also completely depleting. And now we have to defrost these pans.
And see, I loved it.
Was besides myself. Like it was really bad.
I loved it because we were all so like not frustrated, but like just like you had so much tension from the lunchbox game that it fueled my fire for those pants. And I have never swung frozen pants so hard in my entire life.
I don't think I've ever seen frozen pants, to be honest. And when we say frozen, like they were frozen solid. Like there was no bend in them. There was no little parts that like weren't frozen. No. Frozen solid. Even the pockets had ice in them, like frozen completely. So it was really difficult. I definitely struggled with that. I remember David yelling at me from the sideline and was like, giving me pointers on like what to do. And I was just so exhausted. I remember like my hood was up. I looked absolutely insane. They didn't show it, typical, but it was a doozy for sure.
It's like one of my favorite visuals that I keep in the back of my head is Luigi finishing because those pants were huge.
Oh, they were like a triple extra large, and like I'm literally like extra small, so they looked ridiculous on me.
He's like hood up, holding these pants wet, and his face is full of fury as he's like trudging off the arena, and I'm laughing. Like I think it is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
He'll message me time to time, and he's like, "Oh, remember when you look like a gremlin on national TV?" And I was like,
I'm like the wet gremlin from the ice pants. I will text him that frequently.
That's so perfect. Well, it reminds me too, how some people, if they're doing a competition-based thing, they have the frozen t-shirts that they tie the knots in and you have to whack it to get the knots and untie and everything. That's kind of what this challenge reminded me of. But it's just, you really just have to go full force. I mean, I saw Julian. Julian was literally... Yeah. That clip of Julian slamming it down, I felt like that was the best strategy there.
Yeah, I was beating the shit out of it for a while, slamming it on the floor over and over and over. And then finally I was using my knees to just kind of like wedge my knees into certain parts of it to like soften it up a little bit. And eventually it worked, but oh my God.
I did one of those t-shirt ones at a baseball game, actually, like in between innings. So I went in, I was so excited when they explained the rules because I was shocked by the t-shirt because I was like, wow, this is frozen, but I knew the mechanics of how to do this. And so I was like, piece of cake. Like you just have to, you beat it and then you pry. You just keep prying until it's like just the pants, like full out. And then you just swing and swing and swing. And just
see, it sounds so easy, but when you're so tired and depleted, I mean, I had nothing left in me. Like I remember like, and then you're freezing, right? Like I'm trying to get my hands in the pockets because in order to get the clear, you had to have your hands completely inside of the pockets. You couldn't have anything exposed. So like the pockets at this point, you have the legs on, they're frozen solid. And now you're like, well, crap, how am I going to get my hands through here? So it was frustrating.
I actually took my pants back off.
Oh, see, smart. I was so tired. I'm like, I'm not taking these off.
No, I took them off. I got mine like very loose, very fast. And then I put them on and my pockets were frozen. So I said, fine, let's play. Took them back off and I swung the other direction. So instead of swinging the legs towards the ground, I swung the top and I smashed those pockets because I was like, I'm not going to sit here and just dig.
I remember when we got that as like the last challenge of the day when we were filming that day, even though it was the first one on the show. I remember being like, damn, these people. I'm like, they really hate us. I'm like, we are so tired. I was like, what is happening here?
I did prefer those physical ones to the like random ones though. Like Like, let me be physical with it.
Yeah.
The random ones were just,
Yeah, because the physical one at this point, it's like if you go home, it's because you just didn't do enough, to break it down or whatever. The random ones or the ones with luck, it's out of your hands.
Yep.
So,
speaking of luck, that brings me to the next one because that is the biggest luck of them all.
Wow.
Really, truly. That was insane. And it also was crazy too because the finish, the fact that they all landed like that to have those 3 at the end, that was wild.
Well, it was the weirdest thing because as you see in the actual episode, everyone's hands are just shooting up. Like we're all getting the clear, everyone's getting the thumbs up. The refs are running around trying to do it. And then all of a sudden we're all in the safe zone. Like we all get out there and we're like, wait, no one's left. And you can see everyone is confused.
Yeah, it was one of the games where like the buzzer went off and then not even like a minute, not even a minute, like seconds, 30 seconds, people were all clear. And I'm looking around and I'm like, holy shit. I was like, oh, this is going to be a quick one. Like I'm in trouble. And I remember telling this to David and others, my little coins were not sinking. And it did not matter how much force I put on them. It did not matter. They would hit the top of the water and they would float. I must have had like 30 just sitting at the top of the water. They would not go under the water. And then finally one went and it landed. But yeah, that was nerve-wracking as well because you just kept seeing everybody getting the clear. And then all of a sudden there's like 7 people left.
It's one of the few games I think back to and I'm like, I actually don't know how I don't know what angle I dropped it at. I don't know how many because it just was so fast. And you just went and you freaked out mentally. Yeah. You're like, go. I
was freaking out because they weren't sinking. I'm like, why is this not going under the water? And I knew they were light, but the fact that everybody was getting it so quickly, I was like, is there a technique that I'm missing that I'm not understanding? And then even with force, they would not sink. They would hit the top of the water and they would just stay there. And I said, oh, I'm in trouble. I was like, this is not good. And again, it kind of comes down to luck. So
you could cut the tension in the room with a knife, though, when they went down to that final 3.
Yep.
It was almost like spotlights on each of them. It was, and they only showed 2 drops. It was more than 2 drops.
Oh, yeah, they did way more than 2 drops.
More than 2 drops.
We kept going that over and over and over. Again, a lot of waiting around, and it was tiring, like extremely exhausting.
Well, I even think, too, when they're down there doing the 1 drop, that's got to be so much more difficult because at least when y'all are you're doing the rapid fire. So it's just literally, I'm picking it up and I'm dropping it.
Yeah, didn't they time them? They gave them like a 3, 2, 1, and they all dropped at the same time, right?
Well, so yeah, I don't know if they necessarily had to drop exactly at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Like immediately drop, but like you couldn't just keep going. You had your 1, and then once everyone released and they like determined if anyone was safe, then they would be like, okay, everyone next chip. And it was a very tedious, stressful thing to even watch. I know the 3 of them must have been, oof.
Oh, I do not envy them. That was like, I would not have wanted to be one of those 3 because that was just.
Actually, knowing you did do it. Like they had done, it wasn't like they didn't do it. They all got one in. So that would make me so sad.
Yep. Yeah, because they all got it at the same time. And I guess they just couldn't tell who was first.
It was
which is crazy because you wouldn't think that would be the one where it's going to come down to just a second of them all going in.
And I don't think I realized that Michaela's literally landed on the edge.
I didn't either because you know what it was? When you're in the safe zone, we almost have like a back view or like the back.
All we saw was their backs and then you would see them celebrate. And so then we would celebrate.
Yeah. So we really didn't know what was happening until, they were cheering that they made it in, but.
That's so tough. I mean, it's literally right on the edge. Like that's got it. That's just devastating right there.
I know.
Yeah. And those were all 3 people that I think everyone loved.
Oh yeah, we loved them.
It was a hard 3 to watch do that.
This entire episode was hard with all the people that went home. So
yeah.
And it only gets harder as you continue to go through. That's the problem. When the numbers start to dwindle, you get really close with everybody because you're in that environment for so long. Because as y'all said, you're filming all day long. So you have nothing but time. And then if you finish a task quickly, you're on the sidelines for could be an hour, could be 2 hours.
Yep. And that's what people don't see when they're watching. They think these games take like 5 minutes. And I'm like, you don't understand. We filmed for 15 hours and that was like the last event of the day. We're tired. We're exhausted. Like my mom was like, oh, you look really nervous in that one. She's like, why? I'm like, why? I'm like, what don't you understand? Like, We filmed for 15 hours. I'm exhausted emotionally, mentally, physically. It's very taxing.
Which is part of the reason I think the episodes are starting to look more emotional, because we need support from each other. And so the further we go on, the more we require that support, which then you see people break when those support people for them go home. Because it just like that becomes, yes, you can like call your parent, whatever, but they don't know.
Oh, it's not the same. They don't get it.
Like, and I talked to Luigi, or like our little group that we had, like it just, I mean, the hugs, I've never hugged that many people in my entire life.
Me neither. I'm like not a hugger either. And I was like, well, we are here.
You feel them, and it just is the most comforting. Like you need it so bad.
Yeah, you need it just to get through it mentally. Like it's like
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
It's great. It's crazy. Yeah, and I mean, watching it too is just insane. But let's go on to the tape measure one, because Luigi, I'm sure you have thoughts on this one in particular.
Oh, geez, it was rough for me. I had a hard time with this one. So when we first did it, it's kind of a learning curve, right? I mean, if you were lucky to get it in the first round, awesome. But it was a learning curve. We didn't know how fast it was gonna retract, right? And it's a guessing game at what point you need to stop it. So I remember the first one, I was just short a little bit, tiny bit, maybe an inch or two. And I was like, damn. I'm like, all right. I'm like, well, if I did that, I'm like, I can definitely get it the next time. And then we went a second round, a third, and so on and so on. And I'm looking around and I said, oh, this is not good. And I was right next to the safe zone. So I had a lot of people in my ear trying to give me advice of like what to do. And a lot of people were telling me to count. And while I appreciate help, absolutely. I think I was just focusing too much on that. And I kept counting and it wasn't working. And then they would count with me and it wasn't working. So finally I said, you know what? F this. I was like, I'm going to do my own thing. I blocked everybody out and I was finally able to get it. And I think, I was bottom 6, I think. Because there were 6 people left. They didn't show it, of course. But yeah, I was the sixth person there in that lineup. And when I got it, the feeling was just such a sigh of relief.
You just had to be a little bit further down in the bottom, and then
maybe they would have showed me. I mean, it's really getting ridiculous at this point. Fox, if you're watching, you suck. No, I'm kidding. It is what it is. It's one of those things. It's like, if I'm meant to be shown, they will show me. It is what it is. So. But I was there.
Your time's coming. It's going to be here.
I'm glad I could come here and talk about it.
Yeah, and that's exactly. And this is why these are so fun. But David, how did you feel about that challenge?
So I was not as low as Luigi, but I was probably bottom like 25. And I was getting frustrated because
we did it so many times.
Well, you did it a lot more than I. I said I was bottom 25. I believe I counted, and I got it on the 8th round.
Yeah, see, and that's the other thing. People don't realize how many rounds we went, and we had to wait for everybody to reset.
Oh my gosh! And that waiting period was horrible, because then you would have to watch them clear people, and you're like, I just want to keep going, and sitting there and just.
Oh, brutal! I remember there was a shot where like you see me, and I'm just kind of like, because I was waiting for them to like reset everybody, and it took forever. So yeah, super frustrating.
But my problem was that I actually was getting it on the green every single time. And I was like, I would rather be so far away than being on the green every time. Because if I was far away, I can be like, okay, I need to change my strategy drastically.
I was always like a few inches away from it. Like I was always like just a little bit short.
Oh, I was literally on the green. And I was like, that's why you see me whenever they do show me getting it. Yeah. That's when I stand up and I look, because I was so tired of being on the green. So I'm like, let me get up and make sure that I am fully in the zone for that. But I mean, it just became time and time again. And then I didn't know.
Did you have a strategy for that? Like everybody kept telling me to count, but counting did not work for me.
Well, you were talking about that because I went over and I stood next to you. Like I was like right there.
Yeah, there were so many people right next to me. They didn't show up. Like everybody was obviously like cheering for me and trying to help me. And they were like, you got this. But like Danny was working.
You and Danny were close, so I stood right there because you and Danny were not far apart. And I did not count. I thought counting was bad.
Counting just did not work for me. Like I forgot how many seconds it was, but I'm like, not every tape measure like retracts at the same exact speed, like at the same so it really didn't make sense to me. But I was like willing to like take their advice because clearly they were all safe. So I'm like, maybe it did work. It didn't work for me. I went based off of like feeling, and
I had a spot on the floor. Me and Tommy had talked about it beforehand, and we were like. And then he got it. The number of times that I would tell him, hey, I think this is how we need to do it. And he would get it so fast. And then he would look at me and be like, David, do what you told me to do. And I was like, I am trying.
I tried the spot on the floor as well. Cause there was, the floor wasn't like completely smooth. So there was like things that you could like pinpoint. Right. But I feel like it retracted at different speeds every time. And maybe that was just in my head because we did it so many times, but that's what it felt like. It didn't feel like it went at the same speed every single time.
I don't think it was that. I think it was that it didn't follow the same path every time. Like it would hit the floor maybe, or it would like wobble, and so therefore it would change the like angle of it and how it looked.
Right.
And so I would look right in front of the green tape because there was always a little bit of a lag. So I would try to hit it right before it hit the green, which then landed me on the green every time. And I tried to slowly eke it back, and finally I got it. But that one was.
Weren't there people that were like saying they were having issues with their tape measure and they like got them switched out or something?
Oh, I was about to say we had a lot of tape measure issues, and which I do respect how they handled those because so what happened for most people was that they would press to stop it and it wouldn't stop. So then they would be like, "Hey, mine didn't stop." The refs would test it themselves to be like, and if it was proved to be faulty, they would give them a new one, and then just they would go again.
Yes, by themselves. Yeah,
it's painful to watch because we're all like, I want to be done. We all have to sit there and watch this person by themselves try it.
Oh my god,
that's crazy. Yeah, was one of them Courtney's dad? Because I kept seeing the clip of him, or was he just not stopping it?
I don't think he was stopping it. If I recall correctly, I don't think he was one of the people that needed to get
having issues. Yeah,
I could be wrong. I mean, there was so many people that had to get theirs replaced.
Danny was having issues with her, and I think Sarah Kay also.
Danny got hers replaced. I do remember that. I think Jake P did as well.
Yeah. Some of them were having issues, but they were good with replacing them and making it fair.
That's awesome. We love to see it because the only reason I brought up Courtney's dad because a couple times I'm like, did you hit the stop? Because it came all the way to you.
Even watching him stop it, I noticed in the episode every time he went to stop, he would pull his whole body back. And a part of me is like, I think he missed the button some of those times because he would just like full body do
it. Maybe he thought he pressed it, but like not enough.
I was like, because most of us would stay down and
absolutely.
He would like press and release fast, and I was like, I don't know if he's giving it the like full push that he needs to.
But I don't remember ever taking my hand off of it.
No, he did though. Did you
like? Right, but like, okay.
I'm saying like he would like just full body, and I don't know because of that. I think he might have.
Yeah. The way I was gripping that thing for like dear life, just like praying that it would stop.
Like full grip. And I was so aware of what my thumb was doing.
Oh, yes.
Like, you better not. Don't go early. Don't like mess up on me. Me and my thumb were best friends.
Yes.
That's the way you have to do it. But let's jump into David's challenge, the nails.
Well, first of all, we were both at the end there struggling.
I didn't realize you were that far. You were like,
I would think I was like bottom 5 or 6. Yeah, this was a tough one.
And here's my thing. I'm actually good at the balance ones, and that wasn't my problem with this one. It was, and King David even talks about it. My hands were so sweaty that I couldn't get my hands underneath because you had to like scoop the nails up.
Yeah, you had to like scoop them and same thing with me. They were sliding off of my hands. I physically could not pick them up or grab them off of the table, like at all. I must have done it 40 times. Like I just could not get it.
And I was gonna say, I think you see all of my attempts to actually put it on the nail. I don't make that many attempts because most of my attempts, I didn't even make it to the nail to try to balance them because I literally would slip out of my hands.
Yeah,
and I mean, that's the first time I've been in the bottom. And I was like, wow, this is the mental game because you hear your name. And when you hear your name, you know you're not doing well. And I got to a point where I was the furthest forward of like the people remaining. And so I didn't know who was left. I didn't know how many were left. And I was sitting there like,
well, that's a big thing. I feel like when you're so focused, I had no idea. I didn't know if I was bottom 10, 4, 3. I had no clue because you're just so laser focused on what you're doing that even when I got it, which I was shocked that I made it, I remember finally being like, okay, I can breathe. But now I'm like, wait, who's left? And then I remember seeing David and the other two that were there as well. And I was like, oh no, not realizing because you're usually really good at those things. So I was kind of shocked.
Well, and I'm actually really proud of myself for staying in it and changing my strategy because I was like, this is clearly not working. Because I would try to lay them perfectly on the table to lift up. And I was like, it doesn't matter because I can't even lift it. Yeah. So the time I get it, I just threw the nails on the nail, like on the nail.
And you and Joanne literally got it within like seconds from each other, back to back.
But in the air, I'm holding them and I start to make adjustments while I'm holding it in the air. Cause I'm like, okay, it's up. I have it in my hands now. Now let me get them in the correct position. So I'm like fiddling with them while I'm holding it. Cause I was like, I just need to be able to get it into the air and then I'll make it pretty. I
still don't really comprehend. My brain does not comprehend how it stays on the nail. Like I genuinely just don't get it. Like my brain does not work like that. And I just remember placing it. And you even saw my face when I was safe. Like I was shocked because I'm like, wait, this thing stayed. And when they gave me the okay, I was like, whoa, like okay.
I laughed watching it back because my ref is so sad. It is like I sound like I am on my last drops of water and there's no one giving. I look and you can see the look in my eyes of like, please.
Yeah, we had a rough time with that one.
And then I stand up and then I just hit the ground because it just like it rushes over you because you also in those times you're like, I don't want to lose, but you're like, wow, is this it?
Yeah.
You're starting to mentally, you're like, I need to be like mentally prepared for that red light to go on me. And then you get it and you're like, oh,
that red light. But I couldn't even get them off the table. I was like the first couple minutes, I literally physically could not get them off the table. I said, oh, I'm screwed. I said, there's no way that I'm going to be able to lift it into the air and place it when you can't even scoop it from the table because they just kept sliding off of my hand. I was like, oh, this is going to be the one. And then miracle.
What's interesting about this game is I thought this was going to be a long game until they gave us the demonstration of how to do it. Because
some people got it so quickly.
I think people, if we didn't get that given that demonstration, I think people would have just stacked them one on top of another because they're like, I would have never figured that out. Like how?
No, they had to give a demo. There was no way that anybody would have understood to crisscross them that way over the one nail and then place the other one on top. No way. Nobody would. I mean,
you would have been there forever because even alone, that's still complicated. Even getting the demo, and I have to say, seeing that, I'm like, I'm all set on that challenge. Like that would not be for me whatsoever.
Even with the demo, I remember like the buzzer going off and just trying to like set the nails. Like my hands were shaking. I'm like, and all I'm doing is placing them down, and my hands were already shaking. So I was like, well, this is going to be a disaster.
I went into this one actually feeling good. I actually was not worried. This is not one that I was freaking out about, which I feel like is a common theme. Whenever you don't freak out about something at least a little bit, that's when it gets you because it got me good.
Listen, I freaked out about every single one. Everyone's always like, oh, how'd you feel about this challenge? I hated it. I'm like, they all suck. And they were all nerve-wracking. I don't care what anybody says.
I was like turning around because even once I finished, I still didn't know who was even in the box.
There, yeah.
Because like then I get like rushed by people. And there's that shot of like me just like this and Danny and Tommy like holding me. And it's just like, ugh. And then I turn around and I see King David sitting there. And I was like, there is no way.
I felt so bad because I remember during the challenge. So full disclaimer, and not to sound weird or gross, but like I have like hyperhidrosis. My hands sweat constantly. It sucks. It's a horrible thing to have. And people were like, oh, my hands sweat when I'm like nervous. I'm like, that's great. I'm like, my hands are literally sweaty all the time. Like, doesn't matter what I'm doing. They're just always wet. It's gross, whatever. So as soon as I saw this challenge, David has exactly the same thing. Okay. King David has exactly the same thing. It's horrible. And funny enough, we bonded over that. And I remember when the challenge started and I couldn't even pick them up. He's the first person I thought of. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, he's going to struggle with this as well. Because I just couldn't even lift them. And lo and behold, when I got it and I realized that he was still out there, my first thought was, he's screwed. And talking to him after, he said the same thing. He was like, I thought of you. And I'm like, yeah, we were already at a disadvantage, I said, from the beginning because of our stupid hands. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah, it was, I mean, and I don't officially have that, but I'm also, my friends are all very constantly talking about my sweat. And so the sweat of that one, I don't think that was a balancing issue for any of us.
It was physically picking them up.
It was, I mean, I turned around and then I wanted to go like say something to him because that's like losing just is not good. And I turned back around to like go over to him and he is out of the room, gone.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he sat there for like a minute
and then gets up and like kind of stormed out of the room.
Yeah. I remember kind of like patting him on the shoulder because I didn't know what to do because he looked like he was like just like frozen.
Oh yeah, he was not moving.
And like in shock.
It was scary. It was like almost like you wanted to like comfort him, but you were also.
I genuinely felt bad for him because I totally understood it, and he just kept saying my hands. He's like, my damn hands. He's like, if it wasn't for these hands, and I'm like, I know, I get it, trust me. So
did y'all rush to the middle on King David's exit?
Yes, he asked us to.
Okay.
However, I will, full disclaimer, King David stood next to me in the circle, one or two over. So I got to know him in a different light than most people during the game. And King David, put on a King David show for the show. He is a good person and he means well if you actually get to know him. So I enjoyed King David. So I know that's not what America saw of him, but for me, good person. So
but there's people that we as viewers, there's always that person that you want to root against. That's the purpose of a television show, and I believe that he knew that. He got the screen time. He knew 100%. Exactly what he was doing.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He was on Are You the One? I don't know if you remember that show from MTV like years ago. It was like a dating show.
Wait, yes, I watched that show. I think
he was on season 6.
But he went by Shad.
Which is his last name, I believe.
Oh my goodness. I was like, where do I know this guy from?
Well, he knew what he was doing and he told us that. But if you actually got to know him, like I did just from being in the circle for like, standing there for hours, he was a really great person. So
I mean, and I've actually had a lot of people text me about a comment he made on the show where he's like, come on, my competition's Joanne and David A. Like, what are you talking about? And I every time someone texted me about it, I was like, here's the thing.
He's putting on it's
an act. And also when he filmed that, he had lost already. Like,
right, exactly.
Yep.
He said that because he knew it was going to make for a more dramatic. I was like, he was texting me last night during, like, he's not like, there's no bad blood. Granted, I did hear that. And then I felt less bad about beating him. I was like, okay.
Yeah, you were like, not competition, huh? You're like, all right, I'll show you.
Yeah, I was like, so, but
he knew what he was doing. I mean, there's always going to be that person you want to hate, right? Not hate, but like, you want to like, when you're watching these reality shows. So, and he fit the bill.
He constantly would tell us any screen time is good screen time. He was like, I just want to be seen. I want to have fun. And it was like, and he did.
He did.
Oh yeah.
People know who he is.
Exactly. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. Not knowing, like, I did watch him on a show and I don't remember him, but I will remember him from this show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he said he wanted to go in with that name King David because it stood out, and it did.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I wanted to know. I said, did y'all join the rushing of the circle? And both of you did. But what I will tell you was interesting. They did the showing of who didn't rush the circle. So you see all those people standing there that didn't do it. So that also made for good television.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but it was also like awkward because he wanted us to do it and he asked us, great. Yeah. But like we had never really done that for anybody else. So I think just from like a production view, we didn't know if we were like allowed to run out. Well, we didn't know if we were allowed to like we didn't know if it was like ruining the shot or like we didn't know what the protocol was. So I think that's why some of us were hesitant to like do it. So
that definitely wasn't the first time though, because like we went out for Tori. I remember that.
Did we?
Yeah, but it was just our group. Before him, it was kind of like
people ran out, but it was like if you had like a partner, right? Like Tommy and his dad, like
things like that. And it started. I believe they kind of were like, you can go out if you want. I think they gave him that permission. It started to happen,
but the group thing we never really did like a huge like.
And it just kept going too. Yeah. It was interesting that they showed that because they haven't showed really any of the other like things like that, and they included it in the episode this time.
Yeah.
It's because it was King David. That's
why.
It
was King David. Yes.
That's why. Well, we already hit on the team challenge with the other ladies, so be sure to check that podcast out where we have Dee on there, Michelle's on there, May's on there. They jumped into that. So if you want to hear about the team challenge from all of them, we talk about it there. Do y'all want to plug anything before we wrap this up?
I'm good.
I'm also all good.
Well, plug, tell them to check it out.
Yeah, the show. Keep watching 99 to Beat. Both of us made it onto episode 5.
Yes, we did. Keep watching. You are in store for a lot more ups and downs. It's definitely a roller coaster ride. So keep tuning in.
I was gonna say, now that we've officially broke that top 50 mark, everything just gets more intense.
It's more emotional. It's mental, physical. You're gonna see it all. So
in weirder games.
Buckle up. Oh yeah.
I think weirder games, like not normal.
I'm ready for that then. I love it when it ramps up because with any game show, it starts off and then once you get to that 50, as you're saying right now, and the numbers have gotten to the dwindling part of the game, it changes the whole dynamic of it.
Yep. And hopefully you'll be able to meet more people that they really haven't given camera time to. So, gives them a chance for the audience to connect with new people. So maybe root for new people.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to it. Well, Luigi, David, such a pleasure to have you come on the podcast. Both of you, you're such a delight. And it's always amazing speaking to you both.
Yes. Thank you so much for having us. Always a fun time.
Yes. A great time.
Absolutely. Everyone else, check out everything we have at the Reality After Show. I'm covering all 99 to Beat weekly. We have many interviews. I'll be talking to more cast members, so stay tuned on that. And with that, everyone have a good one.
Good night. See ya.